Hi, welcome and thank you for listening to the Fearless Adventure Podcast. My name is Veerle and I'm taking you with me on a journey. In this podcast, I will give you a glimpse into my location-independent free life. I will tell you about the challenges of online entrepreneurship as a nomad, about finding the right mindset to grow, and how you can experience real freedom in your own non-nomadic life. My name is Veerle and welcome to Fearless Adventure. Hello, lovely people. Welcome today for another adventure. Another topic that I want to discuss today is a topic that is part of everything that I do, everything that I teach, everything that I experience. It is part of my coaching business, it is part of my personal life, and I think you have it in every aspect of your life as well. And I'm talking about sabotaging because everybody is sabotaging themselves. It is part of the process of life. You cannot keep happiness without sabotaging. And I want to talk about why we sabotage ourselves, but especially how we sabotage ourselves, because most of the time you are unaware that it's happening because it is integrated in our life completely. The I have integrated in my life that every night I watch television with my parents. I know I don't get anything out of it except a little bit of entertainment, sometimes a conversation with my parents, but most of the time it's just that I don't have to use my brain and I'm just standing still doing nothing. Sometimes laugh a little, sometimes cry a little, but it's not an active part of my life. It's just time that is ticking away. It's a waste. And I know that, especially when my parents are away and I'm house sitting for them or for someone else, I tend to go and Netflix all the freaking time. I can watch a whole season of Love is Blind or Too Hot to Handle or whatever crazy show is on Netflix, and I dive in completely and do nothing. And I know that for me that is a way of sabotaging myself, because I could have spent those hours on my business and I could have grown. I could have focused on reading a book, on learning something about myself, but I choose to not do that. And it's just an easy habit that I have. I'm so used to watching television when I got full control over the television. When I am at my parents' place and they are at home, I'm not binge watching. I still have the opportunity to do it because I can just go upstairs into my room and watch TV all day, but I'm not doing that because there is some sort of control out of myself. It's not as easy because I have to open Netflix up on my laptop. And when I'm opening up my laptop, I could easily work because the laptop is for work and the television is for brainless activities. So, this is just a small example of how it is an action that you're not aware of that you do, but it's not helping you. And I want to talk a little bit more about sabotage because I have listed out a couple of ways that you can sabotage yourself. And it's a hard word for me to pronounce in English because the Dutch version is so similar, but I keep twisting my tongue on it, but I will keep doing it. All right, I want to list the ways of sabotaging, and you might recognize yourself in it when I say some of them. Because ways that you can sabotage yourself is that you can pick a fight with someone that you just don't want to think about it, and you get annoyed when someone is talking about a topic and you're picking a fight without a reason. It could be about a trash bin that has to be taken out, or it is that someone finished the milk without replacing it for new milk. Those little things can be triggers for you to pick a fight, but the actual trigger is something else because you don't want to do something else. You get sick You every time you've got time for yourself, you get sick. Or when you have this big meeting coming up. Back when I was working in festivals, I had to give this one big presentation for all the volunteers. And every time I had that meeting, I was getting sick. I was feeling anxious. I was getting a small fever. I was getting a stomach ache. All those things because I was nervous. I was sabotaging. I was trying to get out of it because I was scared to do it. You can get annoyed. You can get really cluttery. And when you clutter, you have an excuse because you don't want to do the task. Oh, I will just clean up the house. So cluttering can be a way that you keep yourself busy to not do the task that you want to do. Well, I explained Netflix already. You could just avoid doing things by doing stupid other things. You could blame others for everything that goes wrong so you don't have to look at yourself. And those are just small ways that you can sabotage yourself. And I'm wondering if you thought of some of the examples that I mentioned. Is that your way of doing it? Did you recognize something? Can you see the pattern within yourself? Like I explained with the getting sick every time I had a big presentation, or getting sick because I have a big flight to a new city and I'm a little bit scared about that. For me, it was pretty obvious when I was listing this down what my ways were. For me, it is Netflix and it's getting sick, and I I just avoid doing stuff when it scares me. And it is really important that you know your way of sabotaging, because that way you can actually do something about it. And the funny thing is, you sabotage yourself on the same level as you celebrate yourself. So if you're not celebrating yourself, well, you're not consciously celebrating yourself. You're not consciously about the sabotage that you're doing, because you have to be aware of it. You need to know how you sabotage in order to do something about it. And the stupid thing is that at every level that you get, you will have a new way of sabotaging yourself. The game never stops. Life is a circle, and you know this because you know that you cannot be happy in your comfort zone. I have an episode about that. I talk about it all the time. You cannot be happy in your comfort zone. You have to grow to leave your comfort zone. Well, you have to leave your comfort zone to grow. And you have to grow because otherwise you will be at ease. Well, not at ease, you will be at a standstill. You need to grow. You need to leave your comfort zone. And that's the same thing, because every time when you're at a new level, when you're in a new comfort zone, you will sabotage yourself out of it again. And when you don't do the work, when you're not aware of what your way of sabotaging is, it will keep coming back. You will make the same mistakes over and over again. So you need to be aware of what your way of sabotaging is. So take a look at that list about the pick a fight, get sick, get annoyed, clutter, Netflix, avoid things, blame others. What is your way? Pause this episode and write down all the things you do to sabotage yourself. When you look at last week, I guarantee you that you have been sabotaging yourself on some levels. Every time you're scrolling through Instagram, you are sabotaging yourself. You are distracting yourself. You're not want to do something, so you're opening up your phone. Your phone is a distraction. It is avoiding something. So be aware of that you're doing that. So take a look at your last week and find your ways of sabotaging. And your mood can be related to sabotaging as well. So if you're feeling angry, or are you annoyed or tired or grumpy, check in with yourself where it comes from. Are you not taking care of yourself? Because when you're grumpy or angry or tired, it can be the case that you're not taking care of your food supply, or you're not drinking enough, or you're not sleeping enough. But it can also be that you're not checking in with yourself on a soul level. It is so important to be open to what your soul is telling you. I know every time, every day around 1 or 2, I got this cloudy feeling in my head. And it is because I have to go outside. I need fresh air. So every time, every day around 1 or 2, I'm feeling a bit grumpy. And I know that when I feel that, I have to check in with myself. Have I eaten enough? Have I drank enough water? Do I need to go outside? Have I checked in with myself? So I build a habit around it to make sure that I know if it's just my body giving signs that I'm not taking care of myself, or that those are signs that I'm not doing something, that I'm sabotaging myself, that I don't want to do something. So, are you really tired, or are you just avoiding something? So, make sure you build in that control mechanism for yourself. So, recognize the feeling, check in with yourself, and be aware of what it is. And there's really power in recognizing your sabotage. And the funny thing is, when you do a small thing, so if you accomplish something that you didn't think you could do, it strengthens you. It will strengthen you for the next thing you're going to do. So you're building yourself up. And that's why you need to divide all your goals and dreams into smaller pieces. You need to program yourself for success. And why am I telling you this? Because it feels a bit off the sabotage road, but you need to be aware of the things you accomplish, because then you can celebrate those. And the more you celebrate, the more you are aware of celebration, the more you can be aware of your sabotage, like I said. So celebrate every little thing. Make sure you divide your to-do list, your goals, into smaller pieces, because that way you can celebrate. And the funny thing is, we all want a life full of ease and flow, fun and grace. But every time we get there, we get to self sabotage again. It's like I said, every time we are at ease, something will come back to you. I have this one client, and she told me that every time she signs a new client or something is going well, she always feels like something bad is about to happen. But when you have that feeling, you have that negative energy around you, that is sabotage. You have a belief about that when things happen, something bad will happen, and that belief is sabotaging you. So take a look at that belief and make sure you affirm that every time something good happens to you, there's more good to come. Because that is so much more powerful than always focusing on the negative. And another example, I have this client, and she just had this big launch. And after after that launch, she felt like she was just floating at sea. She felt a bit uneasy. She didn't know what to do. And the funny thing is that she didn't celebrate her launch. She felt a bit negative about it. She thought it should be bigger, even though it was an accomplishment what she put together. And because she didn't celebrate it that well, she wasn't aware that that feeling that she had was self sabotage. So I really tried to celebrate with her in order to make her aware of self sabotage. And the thing is that we are always sabotaging ourselves. And I recognize that feeling of just floating around and not knowing what to do when you just had that big launch, because you think, oh, I need to have some downtime to rest a little bit. But with our mind, we're still in the, we need to accomplish this, we need to do this, we need to do that. And in order to wrap that up, you need to celebrate what you've accomplished. You cannot rest after that when you don't make it a whole circle in your head. So that's why celebration is such a big part of what you have to do, what you do, because that way, when you close it off, it is easier to go into a next project afterwards. And one of the ways we sabotage is that we when we make sure that we have that downtime after a big launch, because sometimes people plan it in and sometimes people don't, and it can be sabotage to plan it in but not really celebrate it and not enjoy it, and it can be sabotage to not consciously plan something next, because that way you're just floating. You have to make sure you check in with your dreams. So sabotaging can come in so many ways, and it's such a weird thing, but you have to be aware of it to grow further. And this is a topic that I will continue on in the fun challenge, because like I said, celebrating but also sabotage is such a big part of enjoying life. And in the fun challenge, we are going to focus on having fun, but also, of course, I'm going to explain why we do it and what you can do to work on your sabotage and your limiting beliefs, and how you can turn it all around into having more fun and grow your business. And we're going to do that between 12th and 17th of July 2021. If you're listening and it is already past that date, you can still go to fearlessbusiness.nl/fun, and I will have something else standing there to, because you cannot enter the challenge anymore live, but something else will be there so you can still go through the process. So make sure you join the challenge or the thing that's coming afterwards, in order to work on your sabotage, to work on your awareness, and to work on having fun, because we need to celebrate, we need to have fun. Life needs to be fun. We don't have to focus on the negative, because when you're focusing on the negative, you will send out negative information and you cannot grow on a personal level or on a business level. So that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. And I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know. It is a topic close to my heart, so please let me know what you think. And I will hope to see you soon at the next episode. Thank you for getting along on my journey and listening to another episode of Fearless Adventure. Would you like more information on the topic of this episode? Then take a look at the show notes on fearlessadventure.nl. Give your opinion or want to screenshot this episode on Instagram, you can find me and tag me on Instagram at Fearless. That is Veerlez, Fearless. Can't wait to hear from you, and see you next time.